To me, the way our military and police have behaved toward the protesters at the instruction of Donald Trump has almost been Nazi-like. You know, the way they're treating their people right now, the way they're treating their black people for years, the way they treated my stepson on Monday night. We had spoken to him before we left the house about the Black Lives Matter protests that have been happening all over the world. We had spoken about Tamir Rice. We had spoken about Ayanna Stanley, children, killed by the police. He asked us before he left the house, would we be safe? And we told him yes. Instead, we were herded like animals through the street by our own government.
Lafayette Park is the closest place that you can get to the seat of executive power in the United States. On June 1st, people went to the White House to demonstrate.
Hundreds of protesters are back behind barricades.
The White House in the distance, but you probably can't see it because there are so many people here.
And then without any justification, that demonstration was violently shut down by federal police.
I will fight to protect you. I am your president of law and order and an ally of all peaceful protesters.
The police moved on the demonstrators using weapons of war.
Hang on one second. Let's get out to I think it's the Rose Garden where the president's going to give this speech.
We cannot allow the righteous cries and peaceful protesters to be drowned out by an angry mob.
Not sure exactly what's going on here. As we've been mentioning, there's a curfew. It does not start yet, however. Now there's just a lot of violence erupting. Ben, back up, back up.
And one of the counsel on the case of Black Lives Matter versus Donald J. Trump. The shutting down of this demonstration had as much to do with the fact that it was black people and their allies that were demonstrating as anything else. It had very much to do with the content of the speech and who it was out there that was speaking.
We were actually closer towards the front fence up there, when everything started. And my wife and stepson were standing across from me, looking on.
I marched when Mike Brown was killed. I marched when Trayvon was killed. And at this point, I'm tired of having to march for the same thing.
First of all, you heard the sounds. It was like boom, 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 and then the smoke started filling up the air. All I kept thinking is, I just gotta keep my eyes on my wife and my stepson. He could have been trampled by the people running. He could have fallen and hurt himself. I couldn't tell him, you didn't have a near-death experience. I could not tell him that lie. It was. Like I said, anything could have happened to him because of the actions of Donald Trump. Anything could have happened.
That wasn't a clearing, that was a beatdown. Repeatedly hitting me with their billy clubs. They're all in the eyes, top of the head, the neck. They chased everybody down the street and around the corner. They didn't stop. I went over to that alleyway to collect myself. I see them sprinting towards us again, and I hear them yelling, "Get him!" And they forced me to run barefoot in the middle of the street for what I assumed was my life. As you can tell, my voice is still a little bit hoarse, and that's due to the blunt trauma to my voice and the pepper spray that was forcefully ingested in tear gas that they claim they didn't throw.
What's in your eyes? What's in your eyes? Did you get sprayed?
He got hit.
Moments ago, the U.S. Park Police put out a statement saying that no tear gas was used during that pushback of protesters.
They didn't use tear gas. They moved them out.
We know tear gas was used at Lafayette Park because canisters were recovered there by journalists.
I'm holding in my hand some of the remnants of the flashbangs and the tear gas canisters that were launched.
And so the denials of the United States that it didn't use tear gas are just not credible.
Just like we're standing here right now, it's all right. And the cops came right now and started moving us, you would feel some kind of way. I think America would feel some kind of way. So at that moment, I kind of stood my ground to record everything that was going on because I knew that This is going to be a pivotal point in history. They threw a flashbang once that exploded right by my ankles. But I asked the officer on film, I said, what if that exploded on my leg? And he just threw another one. We communicate with them. But I guess they were instructed not to talk to us, not to have any kind of human interaction at all.
I feel you, brother. I know you feel it. I ain't got no problem with nobody out here. It's peaceful, brother. It's peaceful. It's peaceful.
I think if you had 10 officers that said, hey, this is wrong. These guys are standing here peaceful, they're not throwing. They could have turned around and told whoever their person was, they're not throwing anything. And I think these guys just did whatever somebody told them to do, and you got the mess that was caused. And I've been in the military. You don't plan stuff like that within a half hour. You plan stuff like that well in advance.
Around 6:10 p.m. Eastern Time, Attorney General William Barr was spotted walking through the park, surveying the scene with a security detail.
So the Department of Justice has officially acknowledged that Defendant Barr ordered Lafayette Park cleared minutes before the assault started. Defendant Barr issued this order following a series of statements by Defendant Trump in the days and hours leading up to this attack.
You have to dominate. If you don't dominate, you're wasting your time. They're going to run over you. You're going to look like a bunch of jerks.
Just a few hours later, he showed him what he meant by that. He wanted to tell people, stop demonstrating or you're going to suffer the violence of policing.
And then that's when I saw this guy, that I could tell he was hurt bad, tried to get some gauze on it, sat him down like basically right here, and I then realized he had a rubber bullet in his face. And then I turned around and I saw like there were riot officers with batons and shields, and they were just sprinting up onto the porch where I was clearly bent over a very, very injured man. I only really made the connection later that like, oh, Trump was trying to take his photo like at this very spot where I was helping a guy who'd been shot in the face by a rubber bullet.
And all that movement was for this, the president taking a stroll to St. John's Church across from the White House.
What it demonstrates is that the president is willing to sacrifice the First Amendment for his own ego.
We have the greatest country in the world. Thank you very much, everybody. We're going to keep it nice and safe.
America is just, it feels like a third world country in a flashy suit. We're not going to take that. We're not going to take it. I'm not going to let another child be endangered by you so you can have a photo op. You know, my stepson, he is still not comfortable coming back out to another protest, and that's not something that we're going to force on him at all.
Say her name! Breonna Taylor! Say her name! Breonna Taylor!
I told him Saturday that I was going to come out here and that there was going to be a lot of people out here. You know, he knew, and he was really upset by that. And he said, well, if you have to go, just promise me one thing. And I asked him, I said, what? And he said, please don't die. But I'm happy today to see the youth out. I'm happy to see the kids out. I'm happy that things feel safe right now, but I'm still a little on alert just because, but I'm happy to see a lot of black joy on Black Lives Matter Plaza.
That's the future right there. That's the future. That's what my baby is.